Here we are back at Sweet Bay where I wanted to walk through the next interactive object I've designed for my accounting class. Um, this is really the first part of the design, and what you're looking at is a T account, and let's see if I could uh, help you sort of envision this perhaps a little bit better. If I come on up and we look down, hopefully you all can see the T account that I have created. Now, let's go ahead and take a look and see how this operates. Basically, the idea behind this is for it to be a game board and for my students to be playing an accounting game. In this particular example, what they will be doing is simply walking on the debit or credit side of the T account depending on um, the type of account that is being displayed. In order for them to become a game piece and play the game, they will have to attach this cube. And this will serve several purposes. Let me go ahead and touch this, and when it does, you'll notice it's asking if I want to attach it to the avatar. So this will happen for all the students. Once that happens, the cube is now chatting with me and asking whether I want to be a debit or a credit. What I'm going to do before answering that question is walk over closer to my T account, and I am going to click on sort of the back of the T account, and you'll notice that it comes up and says increase in accounts receivable. And at this point, what I need to do is walk on, since an increase in accounts receivable has a normal debit balance, I'm going to walk on the debit side of this T account. I'm going to chat to this accounting cube that I want to be a debit. And then once that happens, I'm going to actually touch the cube that's on my head. And when I do that, it's sending information to the T account, and you could see that it's lighted up green and says congratulations, you've moved to the debit side. It's asking for the amount of the transaction so that later on, in addition to debit and credit, we have the ability to put in an actual amount if a transaction was displayed rather than an account. Just to show you how this works also, let's say I thought that an increase in an account receivable was actually had a normal credit balance. So if I walked over to the credit side and I'm a credit, and again if I touch my cube, in a second it'll say I'm sorry Robbins Hermano, but that's not the correct normal balance, and you noticed it flashed red so that the students could get a feedback of whether they're right or wrong. So that's the basics of how the T account works. It's got some other functionality, really just other ways of determining incorrect responses. So if I think an increase in accounts receivable is a debit, and I choose to become a debit, but I'm on the credit side of the T account, it's still going to tell me it's wrong, but the T account generator is going to tell me to please move to the debit side, again giving me some feedback for that. And when I walk back over to the debit side now, I'm still a debit, and I again touch my cube, it's going to flash green and tell me that I moved to the correct side. So that's pretty much the interactive T account. And basically, as you play this game and you click on this sort of backboard, it continues to randomly select various accounts. So now I've got an increase in retained earnings. What the avatar would do would be to, in this case, walk over to the credit side, change to a credit, click the accounting cube, and again we should flash green and get a feedbacks indicating that in fact an increase in retained earnings is a correct. There we go. That's it for the interactive T account. Finally, when we go and the student decides they've had enough with the interactive T account and they detach the cube, let's go ahead and see that. The cube detaches, and then what's actually happening as they're playing the game, it's keeping track of the time they started the game, and then as they detach the cube, it records the time in which they stopped. It then, upon detachment, sends me an email with that information. So here we are looking at my email account, and you can see that I've received several emails. This is the email that was just sent for what the tutorial I was just giving, or the demonstration I was just giving. And you can see that it's recorded the date, August 13, 2007, the time I started, the time I ended, and the avatar that was interacting with it. So simply by determining the time I started, 1636, to the time I end, 1646, shows that in this case we were using or interacting with the T account for approximately 10 minutes. I'll be able to use this information to see how often and for how long my students are interacting with this particular object.